Hello, my name is Michael O'Keefe, aka the Movie Mystic. If you enjoy these film reviews, then please press the like button, subscribe, hit the bell, and stay in the know. Subscribing to this channel means you get to watch the coolest new film industry interviews, hear some groovy film reviews, and get some live streams too. Beyond LSD is a movie for square parents in the late 60s who would happily burn a record of the Beatles and refer to boomer culture as infernal rackets. Oh, how the tables have turned. But that is not the point. The point is, this is a funny insight into the lameness of before, stating obvious things like, listen to your kids and don't think of them as a carpet to present. It is hilarious that any of those things need to be stated. If you ever feel compelled to want drinking booze to look as scientifically revolting as possible, then watch The Bottle and the Throttle, which equates drinking with inner revolts, then says you will certainly kill someone while driving. This is certainly a scare film, with not much context, lots of shock to get you scared straight, but you will end up laughing out loud for this hilarious 10-minute short because of its unbridled sanctimony. Curious Alex is a drug scare take on Alice in Wonderland, meaning that the visuals are amped up to shake up your context for drug use by making things as scary as possible within a trippy animation, which for its purposes is a good idea. It starts off as interesting, then goes off the rails in terms of fear. But visually, it is fun to watch. It sort of reminded me of Alice by Jean Zangmajier, which places a heavy emphasis on the surreal elements of Alice in Wonderland. The Distant Drummer is an undistinguished scare movie, which is standard traditionalist trashing of baby boomers, as well as drug culture, talking about how drugs make people unproductive losers who do not appreciate the world. It does not have inspired trashing of drug users that I have come to expect from these. It does not have a visual angle or storytelling device that really goes for the hyperbolic trashing of the lifestyle that it claims to hate. Drugs, Drinking, and Driving starts off fun by using the James Bond theme by John Barry to get things going a bit with some spy stuff set up. Looks like it'll be fun until it uses the retro human body chart. The retro human body chart is cued to try to scare people with damaging scientific facts being hurled at the audience member with no respect to the sensitivity people have with this subject whatsoever. LSD, Insight or Insanity, presents another chorus of angry traditionalists, the weird boomer youth, and it even claims that acid does not make people more creative, it only makes them feel so, or whatever. A square tries to measure creativity in a standout moment of squareness. These traditionalists claim to care about drug users, but how they talk about them is pretty horrible, bringing that into question. LSD-25 takes an interesting approach by having that annoying square narrator play the role of acid, explaining how he is created, used, distributed, and understood in society, which is a great take for this genre of movie. A notable moment was the shout-out to Southern California cults who worship him and, in Acid's belief, give him a bad name, while totally dodging the idea of the death cult and the power structure seen in these groups beyond being weird. The Narcotics story is refreshingly not anti-boomer, given that it was made in the late 1950s, and is like kind of more of an anti-beatnik, if we even consider it anti-counterculture, but the heroin dealer scene definitely reminded me of William Burroughs. It is nice to hear a different narrator as well, since drugs were prevalent but not huge at this period. It is a bit more effective propaganda, since it is a bit more subdued. It is propaganda, but it is more entertaining than a lot of other movies in the scare film archives drug stories. None for the Road is another very amusing scare movie from the 1950s, this time about drunk driving. I like how the narration comes from a guy who hits a kid for mentioned activity in the most over-the-top consequence possible. Of course, he cannot break a homeless guy's knee driving drunk. It has to be an innocent kid. I love it, and I love the whole Atomic Family unit intact makes these short films slightly less nauseating, although they're full of moments that make you groan. The Trip Back is the quintessential drug scare movie, to me dethroning Reefer Madness. It is this angry old female New Yorker lecturing kids, then young adults, who is the least effective spokesperson possible. She makes doing drugs sound awesome, and even tells the kids where they can find it, then says soaking weed will make you murder people, and a bunch of other unfounded things. This is hilarious hyperbole that has to be seen to be believed. Users Are Losers has some sketch stuff showing a kid who tries to doing drugs to then get straightened out by a seemingly older, kind of cool kid who then begins to sound like some proto Reagan youth, droning on for a while. I'm not saying doing drugs makes you cool, but sounding like a square is not the answer either. Can we find a middle ground? Let's not make movies to scare people not to do drugs. Let's have real conversation instead of sweeping generalizations.